Hello! I'm sorry there's been a gap of 2 weeks nearly now since the last video. I really try and get one up a week. In this video I'm going to be looking at someone called Ines Basic, and she was on Married at First Sight in Australia last year, and that's now showing in the UK. And she's been in the headlines because people have been saying what a horrible person she is. There was a Facebook group in Australia that was set up to try to harm Ines, and it was taken offline. So people have a lot of anger towards her. She's since said she was used as a puppet by the show and told how to behave. We can't know if that's true or if her bad behaviour has nothing to do with the producers. So don't take this analysis to be of the real person, because we can't know for sure that that's who she was being. It's useful though to look at these dynamics so we can draw a parallel with a real life relationship. Married at First Sight is a TV show that matches couples together. So psychologists apparently put these people together and they don't meet until they're getting married. So the idea is that they're meeting their perfect match, and that if they're married from the beginning, then they'll take it all really seriously. And then they go off on this honeymoon, and then after they come back from there, they're supposed to live together. And then at the end, they can decide if they want to stay married or not. It was originally a Danish series that was sold all over the world. So lots of different countries have this program on, and this was the Australian version. Ines was put with someone called Bronson. I have no idea why they were matched, because they really do seem to be a terrible couple. You've got to wonder if the psychologists were just doing this for a laugh to entertain themselves and us, or if they really did try when they were putting them together.
Wow. Jesus.
How are you going?
Hi, good.
I'm Bronson.
Hi, Bronson. Can we get rid of your eyebrow ring, please?
Ines sabotages this moment of potential intimacy. She says something that's going to be shocking and confusing, and that's going to put her husband-to-be on the back foot. So this confusion that he's going to feel when she's so outrageous and so rude, that gives her power and control.
Not very easily, no.
She also gets attention from her friends. They're really impressed that she has had the guts to be so outrageous. And so that can also help her to feel confident. Bronson laughs straight away. This is how he deals with this shocking situation. And in doing this, he's showing her that he's not prepared to confront her.
Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Ines was
Ines?
my name.
Oh, Bronson.
Hi, Bronson.
Very nice to meet you, Ines.
Nice to meet you.
She's definitely ballsy, which I like. It means she's honest.
He's decided that her insulting him means something really good about her. It means she's an honest person. So he's turned something negative about her really rude behaviour, into a really positive quality that she has. In fact, there's no evidence that she's an honest person here. And as we'll see later, she doesn't act like an honest person at all. It might make sense that he's trusting that the psychologists know what they're doing. So that could be a reason for why he's looking for the best in her. But this is a good parallel for people who are in abusive relationships, because the person who's abused will tend to look for the best in the other person, and they'll deny the worst. They'll make lots of excuses and find it really hard to accept that the person has negative intentions towards them. And this keeps people in bad relationships because they won't accept reality. They won't take what's happening at face value. They'll keep thinking that the person's going to change because they're not really being themselves when they're being nasty.
It is very nice to meet you. And it's even nicer to marry you today. But before I say I do, I want to tell you a few things about me. I'm a Pisces. I'm a meat eater. I have piercings. I'm a country boy who loves a fast-paced lifestyle with a big smoke, but someone who will never lose my country boy charms.
That's cute. In his vows, he said he had country boy charm. Like, it just doesn't turn me on. I'm getting a very inbred vibe.
Ines has the opposite attitude to Bronson. So while he's looking for the best in her, she's looking for the worst in him. She's found out he's from the country and she's made that into him being inbred. So you can see how neither of them are being rational. Neither of them are actually seeing what's really there in the other person. And you can see how they're on a path to disaster, because one of them is only looking for the best and the other is only looking for the worst.
I don't know anyone with an eyebrow ring except for lesbians who work at McDonald's drive-thru.
Bronson, would you like to take Ines's ring, and as you place it on her finger, repeat after me. Ines, with this ring.
Vanessa?
Ines.
Ines.
Yeah, Ines, sweetie.
I should know that.
You know, if you're marrying someone, the first thing you should be concentrating on is the name.
She can't be open-minded about that. She can't think about how her name is actually quite an unusual name. Even though this has probably happened quite a few times before with her, she has to hold that against him as well. So she's looking for reasons to look down on him. And I think the reason for that is because he grinned at her, because he looked vulnerable and open to her. And that was threatening, because there might be intimacy coming up and she could get hurt. So this is how she protects herself. She feels contempt when she feels threatened. And this is something that's common in abusive people. The abusive person will always find a reason to feel contempt for the person that they're abusing, because as long as they can feel contempt, they can feel safe and confident and in control. This is just how they function. So they'll always find a reason, and if there isn't one, they will project one onto the other person.
My whole life, I have hoped to fall in love and marry my best friend, and I can't wait to see if that person is you.
I like it.
She seems quite full on. I feel like I'm happy, then worried, then maybe scared a bit.
Sometimes she seems to be on his side, and at other times she clearly isn't. So he's on an emotional roller coaster, and how he feels depends on how she's behaving. And this is also common in abusive relationships, that the person who's being abused becomes dependent on the other's attitude and behaviour. So they allow themselves to get into this position where how they feel completely depends on another person, on something they can't control. And there are a lot of reasons for that. The person who's being abusive can be very manipulative, and they can blow hot and cold, and as in this case, the other person can be really confused. But it will tend to boil down to a need the abused person has that they find in their abuser. And so because of that, they're not thinking rationally, and they're not acting on the red flags they see.
I hope you are honest, you are caring, and we can build a future from there. Even though the start of life together is not conventional, I promise to be the best husband I can be, and I will strive to be the husband you deserve.
Well done.
Thank you.
Her expression changes from pleasant as she nods to rejecting him as she purses her lips, and he blinks to escape and shuffles, and he looks down and to the side. He's in the submissive position.
While I might have the strength to walk myself down the aisle, I could only make that long walk knowing that the man at the end of it was the man who chooses to make sure I never have to walk alone again.
So here's my demand, she's saying. You'd better be good enough. He responds by laughing again, so he's showing her he's not judging her. And I think that would be her worst nightmare, to be standing in front of somebody who's ready to love her, somebody who's being really open and vulnerable, but who doesn't love her, who rejects her. And so by throwing him off course with all of this shocking, rude behaviour, He can't be in a position to think clearly. This is what confusion does. It gives someone like her the upper hand, because as long as he's distracted by confusion, he's not in a position to judge her and decide what he makes of her.
I promise to go into this crazy journey with my whole heart and soul, and that's what I ask of you.
She's not smiling, so I think he's wondering, is this a joke or is it not a joke?
When do I get my ring?
So again, she's come out of left field and he's confused.
Ines, could you repeat after me? Bronson.
Brendan.
Well done.
So this time she's smiling and people are laughing, and so he's decided it was all a joke, and he's again just looking for the positive in her.
Oh, I like you.
She seems fun. She seems like she definitely has a personality.
He's not talking about how uncomfortable she's made him feel. He's just talking about her as being fun. And I wonder if he's even thinking about how things have really been, or if he's put all of that out of his mind and he's decided that everything's okay now. Because that's something that people can do when they're in abusive relationships. They can be very black and white and all or nothing about what's going on. So for a moment they can see abusive behaviour for what it is, and then they pretend that didn't happen and they just focus on the good in the person. And so then it's a shock when it happens again. If we look at this situation in a way that isn't black and white, we could see Ines as someone who is really fun, who does have a sense of humour and likes to have a laugh, but also as someone who can be cruel. I'm going to look further into this, into what happened after they were married, at Ines's description of her childhood and at the affair she had in the next video. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and I'll see you then. You have to use your wings if you want to go up there. Oh no! That was very silly, wasn't it? He actually should just be on the grass. I don't understand what he's doing. What are you trying to achieve by going up there? You can just stand on there. Quick. I haven't got all day. Just stand on there. That's right, keep going. Not up there, just along. Yeah, so you just don't come back again to the flat patio and you'll be all right. They look great, your wings, to be honest. I can't see anything wrong with them. Oh, you're going onto it again. Now you're going to show up though. Everyone's going to see you, all the birds, because you're a different colour, you see.